In this video, we are going to discuss the difference between domain and range. We're going to focus primarily on continuous graphs. So continuous graphs are any type of graph that you can make without picking up your pencil. So if you look at each of these three examples, for this first one, you could just draw the line without picking up your pencil. Same thing for the second one, and then same thing for the third one as well. So what is the domain? So the domain is the set of all x values of a graph. So we're going to start by looking at how you figure out the domain doing inequality notation. So let's look at this first example. What I want you to envision is two walls on either side of the graph, one wall on the left and one wall on the right. What we're going to do is to try to find the boundaries for those sides of the graph, or for where those walls would be. So picture these two red lines as the walls for your graph. If you ever have the two walls touch an arrow, what's going to happen is that they're going to bounce off of those walls. And what that means is that these graphs would push those walls back all the way to negative infinity and to positive infinity. If we look at this second example, this time instead of arrows, we've got points on the end. So again, we're going to try to envision if we had two walls coming in on the left and the right where they would hit. And in this example, they're going to hit at 1 and 4. In this final example, if we were going to try to figure out where those two walls would hit, they would come in at 2 on the left, but on the right-hand side, the wall would hit the arrow, so it would push that wall back to infinity. Now what we're going to do is to try to figure out the inequality parts of this. So there's a couple different scenarios here. We're going to use a less than symbol if we have either an open dot or if we have an arrow, meaning that the graph goes to infinity. So you use a less than symbol if you have an open dot like this or an arrow that points to infinity. You're going to use a less than or equal to symbol if you have a closed dot. And the reason that you're going to use a less than or equal to symbol this time for a closed dot is that it actually includes the point. So when that dot is enclosed or filled in, it means that that point is included. It's equal to that point. If you have an open dot, it means that it's not actually equal to that point. It gets close to that point, but it's not actually equal to it. So if you look at this first example, since they are both infinities, we've got negative infinity and positive infinity, we're using just less than symbols. For this next example, we've got an open dot. So when we have an open dot, remember we're going to use a less than symbol. But for our maximum for the 4, we've got a closed dot. So we're actually going to have a less than or equal to symbol for the 4, which will look like this. 1 is less than x is less than or equal to 4. For the next example, we've got an open dot here, which means that we're going to use a less than, and then our graph goes over to this arrow, goes to infinity, which means that we're going to have less than symbols for both. So we'll have 2 is less than x is less than infinity. One final thing to notice about when we're doing domain problems is that we're always dealing with x values. So all three of these problems have an x in the middle. What this means is that for the first graph, x can be anything. It can go all the way from negative infinity to positive infinity. For the second example, x can start at 1 and it goes up to 4. And for the third example, it starts at 2 and x goes all the way to infinity. So now let's talk about range, still doing that inequality notation. So range is the set of y values that make a graph. So if we look at those same three examples again, this time I'm going to tell you the lowest and the highest for the y values. When you're picturing this, what I want you to think about is the floor and the ceiling as your boundaries. So those red lines this time are representing the boundaries of the graph. It's sort of like the floor and the ceiling instead. Again, though, if you ever have an infinity, an arrow with a negative infinity or an arrow with a positive infinity, those walls are going to bounce right back off and go all the way up to infinity. So let's see if we can fill in the inequalities this time. So for our range for the first one, we're going from negative infinity to positive infinity. Again, infinities, we're going to use less than symbols. So that first answer will look like this. Negative infinity is less than y is less than positive infinity. For the second example, we've got an open dot for 2. An open dot means that we're going to use less than. And then we've got a closed dot at 7. And a closed dot means we're going to do less than or equal to, which will look like this. 2 is less than y is less than or equal to 7. And then finally, for the last example, we're going to go from 3 all the way up to infinity. The 3 has an open dot. So again, for that open dot, we're going to use a less than. And then we have an arrow. And again, when we have an arrow, we're going to use a less than as well. So for this one, it'll be 3 is less than y is less than infinity. Now let's talk about something called interval notation. Instead of using inequality symbols, what we're going to do instead is use interval notation. So there's a couple things for you to know for this. If you ever have an open circle or an arrow, you're going to use a parentheses. If you ever have a closed dot, you're going to use a bracket. So these are the same 3 examples that we did before. This time we are just going to try to, instead of using the inequality notation, we're going to try to do interval notation. So all you have to do for this first one is go from negative infinity to positive infinity. Since they're both infinities, you're going to use parentheses for that. For the second example, the 1 had an open dot. When we did the inequalities, we used a less than. Now, when we're doing the interval notation, we're going to do a parentheses. And then the 4 had a closed dot. So when we did the the inequality notation, we did a less than or equal to, and this time we're going to do a bracket. And then finally, for the third one, we have an open dot, which means we're going to do a parentheses. And then for infinity, we do in parentheses as well. Now let's look at the range for each of these. So here's the answers that we had from before. For the first example here, we're going from negative infinity to positive infinity. So again, we're just going to use parentheses for that. And that'll look like this. For the second one, we've got an open dot, which means we'll start with a parentheses, but we end at a closed dot, which means we're going to end at a bracket. So that looks like this. And then for the last one, we go from an open dot to an arrow. So both of these are going to have parentheses. And that's what that one looks like. All right, now let's look at an example of when you might use something called curly brackets. This is an example of a discrete graph. The way I can tell that it's a discrete graph is that it's just a series of points. There's nothing that's connected together. To make this graph, I had to pick up my pencil to make each point. So I made a point, and then I picked up my pencil, I made another point, I picked up my pencil, made another point, picked up my pencil, and made a fourth point and picked up my pencil. When you do the domain and the range for this, to show that it's not an interval, it's just specific points, we're going to use something called curly brackets. So for the domain, we still need to identify the x values. So I identified the x values on my graph. And then all I have to do is list those x values in curly brackets from lowest to highest. So -4, -3, 2, and 3. For the range, I'm going to identify what the y values are. And then I'm just going to list those from lowest to highest. And again, I'm going to use curly brackets. So -5, 1, 4, 5. Now we're going to look at a couple of special cases. This is our first special case where when we're trying to identify the domain, if we look at the graph, at first it seems like it might be a continuous graph. If we started graphing over here on the left and we work our way around, we're still holding down the pencil and we go down to here. But then the graph jumps up and we actually have to lift up our pencil and then put our pencil back down in order to make the rest of it. So there's a break in the graph here. So there's this break represented here at 1. That red line is just representing the break in the graph. When you have a graph that seems like it might be continuous, but there's just a single break in the graph, what you're going to do is use a notation like this, where you're going to show that x can be equal to anything except for 1. So you're going to use an equal sign with a slash through it to show that x cannot equal 1. This means that x can equal anything except for 1. If you think about the range, when you go to draw this graph, again, there's a break in the graph. This time on our y-axis, the break is across at -1. So this red line is representing the break for the y values at -1. So this time when we do our range, we're just going to use y, but again, we'll use is not equal to -1. And what this means is that y can be equal to any number except for -1. Here's one final example where we've got a line, but this time we have a horizontal line. So if we were going to try to figure out what the domain is, this is a continuous graph. I can do my graph without picking up my pencil. It is continuous. There's no breaks in it. And so we're going all the way from -infinity up to +infinity. And I decided to write this one in inequality notation. The other thing that I want you to know is that anytime you have a graph that goes from -infinity to +infinity, the alternate way that you can write that is the symbol for all real numbers, which basically just looks like a capital R. So if you see a capital R, or if you want to answer all real numbers in your homework assignments, you would just use a capital R. For the range for this one, it looks like the range is a little bit more limited. The only values that work for the range would be 3. The graph doesn't go any higher or any lower than 3. There's no points below 3, and there's no points above 3, which means that y only equals 3. So similar to what we did in the last problem where you could use not equal to, you can also do a domain or a range where it's just y is equal to 3. So I hope that helps show you a variety of different ways that you can do domain and range. We did inequality notation, interval notation. We also showed what happens when there's a break in the graph, and then finally what happens if you have a graph that's only equal to a single number.